Hey everyone, welcome to community call number 5. Let me just get Derek up on the stage. Hey Derek, are you able to come up? All right, maybe look some technical difficulties. 1 second, everyone.
Hey, yeah, I didn't see a request. Or maybe I tripped up the stairs on the way up to the stage.
Haha, very funny. Awesome. I'll hand it off to you.
Okay, thanks.
Just to say hi.
Hey everyone. Hey everyone. Yeah, what a tumultuous time in crypto right now. Markets are having a moment. I think everyone's probably glued to the screen. Um, you know, it's yeah, it's an interesting little rough patch. Some call it a market correction. Um, Some call it a discount, but we'll see what happens. Um, Hopefully, some of you are short. So anyway, yeah, the last time we chatted was quite a bit ago. I hope everyone had good holidays, good New Year. Yeah, Merry Christmas to anyone that celebrated that. Um, I know the team took a bit of a break just to recoup, to get ready for 2022. So we're excited to announce some things that we have and we've been working on. Um, some of you were on the call yesterday with Steven from Arbitrum, where there was some alpha dropped. Sorry about that. I wanted to do the alpha here, but I'll go in more depth on the alpha. Um, yeah, essentially, um, what we've been thinking about is looking at the liquidity on Arbitrum, looking at um, sort of the situation with bootstrapping some of these pools, and what Futureswap really enables is being able to um, kind of open up many markets beyond just what's on this particular AMM. And it is exciting, and we recently just launched the BTC ETH pool, which has got some traction, which is awesome. I think we need to maybe play with the numbers a little bit. What we display, just there's been some comments about, hey, it'd be great if you could show it maybe in the inverse, because this is like kind of what people are rallying around in terms of the flippening. It made sense to us after some feedback to do ETH margin simply because we're on Ethereum and like we're kind of rooting for the home team here. So we think your profits should be received in ETH, but I can also see the other side, which is like people are very used to seeing the inverse, and price go, the chart would go up in ETH getting closer to BTC versus down. So I think that's been that's been really interesting. But overall, this is our first second exchange, which is something we've been talking about for a ridiculous amount of time. And now that V4 is here, it's like this is the platform. This is going to have many exchanges. So it's so much easier now to launch a new exchange than it was. It just took us some time to get to that point and make sure we had the rails and infrastructure in place to launch that. And every time we do, it'll get sort of progressively faster, less technical. Um, so yeah, if you haven't had a chance, definitely go check that out. I think that's probably uh, where you can get the most leverage anywhere on chain, um, for this pair, um, and maybe even in general. The most leverable 30, because you can do 35x, up to 35x. Not you can't open with that, but your position can go up to that. Um, and at that point, we start to cap things. So yeah, that's a little bit. But back to sort of where we're going and some of the things we've been working on. we have an audit coming up, the Trail of Bits. We're really excited about getting some of these features that we've wanted for a couple months now. We just have been thinking about the best way to architect these and where to focus because there's a lot of different directions Futureswap could go with this version. And so doubling down on this particular path is what we're calling Swap Adapter. And Swap Adapter essentially right now we're very integrated into Uniswap v3, but Swap Adapter refactors the code in a way that it's agnostic to any AMM. So long as there's a swap function, Futureswap can interact with it, which is really cool. So something like SushiSwap or Trident or Curve or whatever, Trader Joe's, these are all things that Futureswap can interact with. So long as the contracts are deployed on that chain, Futureswap can integrate permissionlessly on any of these um, AMMs and tap into their liquidity pools and offer leverage. And so what's really exciting about this is that we can sort of go where a lot of people cannot go because there are not robust markets there. But FutureSwap can go there because of how we designed V4. So I think I don't want to share too much alpha, but you know, we've definitely been talking to a bunch of different AMMs, including SushiSwap, including Trader Joe, in terms of where might be the next, um, um, you know, where we might tap into the next pools. So we're really excited about that and seeing what communities we can integrate with and work with. So along with that, we would love to do some user feedback sessions. Um, we're definitely making some, for this update, we want to make some UI updates as well. So anyone who's interested in doing user feedback session, please contact the team, Jenny. Just reach out to Jenny and ask her or Leisure Lord about setting up a session, and we can kind of give you basically beta access in a couple weeks to some of the UI updates that we're doing. So that's a pretty high level. Yeah, if anyone has question or comments around those things, definitely let's talk about those. I know Jenny has some updates that she wants to give as well. And yeah, I'll let you take it, Jenny.
Cool, thanks. So really quickly, just to switch tracks, we are actively recruiting, actively interviewing for many roles. I know I've mentioned this before, but just to refresh everyone's minds a little bit, we're still looking for a couple of engineers, looking for director of marketing, looking for product marketing manager, product manager, and we'll eventually be opening up some roles for content writers, technical writers, things of that nature. So again, if you're interested, if you know someone that's interested, just let us know, reach out. We are hiring for many, many roles and really excited to be growing the team. And then the other update that I have is for our POOPs, Bankless DAO's degen bot was rejected by Discord, but they released a new bot yesterday. So I'll be sharing instructions in the community call channel after this, just to let people know how to claim their POOPs. Basically, if you have your DMs turned on, you'll get a DM. If you don't have them turned on, you can still claim by running a command in the community call channel. So I'll post that. And then we'll be going to ETH Denver next month. So if anyone will be around, if anyone is attending, we'd love to meet you. We'd love to say hi. We're still figuring out if there's like a casual hangout or meetup that we can do at a bar or somewhere and grab some food and drinks and meet some people in the community. So we'll share more details on that once we have them. And then the other thing I wanted to share is with our last community call, it was the first time that we recorded this. And so we're excited to get into the rhythm of, having this available for people who weren't able to join the call. So this one is recorded obviously as well. So we'll have this recording up probably in a couple of hours later today. if you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, help us get a custom URL, that would be awesome. That's all that I have from my side. So pass it back to Derek for questions in the community call. Oh, actually, Issa wants to know about recent roles that we filled. So obviously, Leisure Lord is one of them. Derek, do you want to talk about K-Swap, and do you want to talk about Alexi?
Yeah, so two more developers, Kswap, who's just been on a rampage in terms of checking out other protocols and diving deep into things, and um, really bring a lot of what he's seen with Sushi Swap and sort of a lot of the composability there, and looking at how we can bring that into Futureswap. So that's been that's been really awesome. And Leisure Lord, as many of you know, joined the team and has been doing an awesome job in terms of community and just being part of this. Super excited to have um, Leisure Lord here, and yeah, see what. And then of course we've got some other roles that we're hiring for. We've got some people in the queue, and we're currently interviewing, and so hopefully we get to update with some of those newly filled roles. Oh, and I didn't mention Alexi. Alexi's also joining. So we'll have some more international developers, and he actually worked on our liquidation bot a while ago, and so he'll be coming on full time. He's familiar with some of the code base, so has already made some awesome contributions. So super excited about that.
Awesome, thanks. And then I think Isib had a question about, I know you covered the new pool. His comment was just would love a walk through the new pool and what needed to be in place to make it succeed. So I don't know if there's some more color that you want to add there.
Yeah, what needed to be in place was a ton of liquidity. We worked with a few partners on getting the liquidity into the Uniswap pool there, and as you see, it went from, I don't know, like $9,000 to over 1 million. So that was pretty interesting. I think one of the big learnings that FutureSwap has had is that it's difficult to home grow these pools by ourselves, like manually, essentially. We do think Uniswap v3 is really great. Concentrated liquidity is awesome. The lower fees are really nice, but it requires a certain level of professional market makers that are very active. And that is hard to do with so many assets. And so people really just want to like throw liquidity into a pool and kind of forget about it and earn fees. And the Uniswap V2 model does that fine, right? Concentrated liquidity. I mean, um, constant product, just throw it in there and set it and forget it and walk away. And most of the pools that you see um, in DeFi, whether it's on Ethereum or not, uh, are these V2 pools. And so there's way more of those pools. The problem is the fees are higher on them. They're almost all 0.3 percent fees. So, when we open up this integration to allow for any AMM, if it's on a Uniswap v2 derivative, then we'll probably have to lower the amount of leverage simply because the fees are pretty high. Now, with Trident, I think that will change because they'll also push sort of this lower fee structure to be more competitive. And then, recently I've been looking at Curve. Curve V2 is now doing not only, similar pairs, but they're also doing sort of non-correlated assets as well. So there's now more variety and more options for us to sort of tap into liquidity. And our whole plan is like we shouldn't have to build each one of these pools ourselves. It just takes too long and it's too expensive. We spend a lot in rewards, and we don't want to have to build every pool ourselves. So FutureSwap will go to where liquidity already is, and this is why we're looking at sort of if you look at Trader Joe's, or if you look at some of the things on Phantom, or if you look at Binance Smart Chain, or you look at Ethereum L1, right? You see that there are these pools that are already super deep. Um, yes, some of the fees are higher, but even offering up to 10x leverage on these things is once we launch our contracts, it's super easy to do. Um, and so we're excited to explore and scale into that territory. Just because there's so many more integrations we can do and there's so many more communities we can touch without having to like build this ourselves because it can get really expensive. Yeah, is there any other questions?
I don't see any in the channel, but if anyone wants to come up on stage, feel free to tap the hand button and request to speak, and we can answer your questions live.
Cool. Yeah. Also, I'm curious what the other people think about what's happening in the stable, sort of stable wars right now. I've been watching this, and I think it's pretty interesting. We've been chatting with a few of the stable token projects, um, and I'm wondering from the community's experience, what stable tokens are they looking at? What is their interest? Have you been looking at Magic Internet Money? Have you been looking at Fei? Have you been looking at Frax? Um, is there anything that you've seen that's interesting that you'd like to see Futureswap support? Everyone's recovering. There are no questions.
I eightfold requested. There we go.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
A little bit under the weather, so I could have written this down, but anyway, I love everything's the beginning. I love the liquidity, LUSD, and also I think Faye has some promise, but I'm not that much into that project. I don't exactly know everything about it, so I can't comment too much. But I'm very positive, and I use LUSD. The only problem is that it's not as liquid as USDC and others,
Hmm.
but LUSD is a stable that I use, and I'm confident to use it on the long run due to its nature. I mean, it's only reliant on Chainlink, and it has also another Oracle, I believe it's Teller, as a backup. So that would be the only downside. Other than
I
that,
see
it's
Esib is asking, eightfold Esib is asking what you like about LUSD.
I like that it's first of all, I had a trauma regarding Tether, meaning I was on the
What?
constant being. I wanted to use it, but I couldn't use it. Just I would use it only for short trades and stuff like back in the day when there was a lot of in this how do you say, a lot of unknowns and a lot of fears concerning Bitfinex and Tether, etc. And I don't like the idea that. Uh, I don't like the bank backed part of things. At least if I'm to keep it long term.
Hmm.
I'm very comfortable in holding ETH long term, and if I can hold ETH long term, then I can hold LUSD long term because it's all set of contracts. It's uncensorable. It's the contracts are immutable. So I
That's a
love
really
it.
good
I
data
love
point.
it, and I use it.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep that in mind. Yeah, I think there seems to be a lot happening, especially as the market sort of um, let's call it waiver. I think a lot of liquidity is ultimately going to move into stable as people get more conservative, and then sort of the rise of stable coin yield will really be a driving factor. It's already a huge driving factor. Go look at Convex, and people are making like really good returns right now on Convex. So I think it makes sense for FutureSwap to definitely invest and spend time into seeing how we can leverage a lot of these stable token projects, because at the end of the day, Futureswap is really good at generating fees for tokens for LP holders and giving like a use case. So I think this is a very effective time for where Futureswap is currently placed.
Also, um, I love the idea of unpegged stablecoins. It's in its infancy, but I believe this is a potential future where we may be heading. Like it's
Hey,
the only. Are,
yeah,
am I
just
interrupting?
no. I think that's unpegged stablecoin. Like, what's your favorite unpegged stablecoin?
Well, my favorite is very least used right now because it's on life support. I believe. I mean, it's not on life support, but its market cap is so
Is it
so so low.
ESP?
No, it's float. It's float. It's float protocol. They had great documentation, and the devs seem to know what they're doing. But I don't know. It's what did you ask that it was?
ESD.
EST. What's that?
Um, Either Jonas or Benji can speak to it if they want,
Okay.
but
No,
it's basically a failed stable token.
no.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't heard of it. No, it's float. It has two tokens, float and bank, and the float
Okay.
is float is the stable one, and bank is the governance one, and the volatility eating one.
I see.
Yeah, and that's the only in a crypto world. That's the only thing left that we have to get over
Hmm.
the the reliance on a central legacy system. Like we are paying on the dollar, but dollar is not a store of value all along. So the idea with floated list is that it can it's sort of like a lagging index fund on crypto market.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'll give a link in the community call. It's very interesting project, but it's high risk, high reward.
Cool. That's
Just
awesome.
okay.
Um, cool. If anyone has any other questions, please raise your hand and we'll get you on stage. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up.
There are a couple more in the channel. One from, oh, where did it go? Big Fupa. Did I hear correctly from the call last night that they're AMM native for Arbitrum being made in private?
Ooh, AMM native. Oh, that would be really interesting. I think they need one. I think ultimately what's happening is that um, if you don't have a native chain AMM, it tends to not have the community on that chain rally around it as much. I think SushiSwap and Uniswap are great. Um, but if you look at something like um, if you look at something like on Phantom, like Spooky Swap, or you look at Trader Joe's or Pangolin, um, or you look at QuickSwap on Polygon, those are getting the most attention on the chain. Um, even while you have SushiSwap and Uniswap on those chains or on some of those chains, they're not getting as much attention. So it seems like people on those chains are very interested in the um, native products to sort of grow their ecosystem.
Another question from JM, adding more assets soon. I know Futureswap was involved with Ren during testnet. Any plans to add their recently expanded asset list that includes stables?
Yeah, I think Ren is such an interesting use case. Like we would love to have Solana and some of these bigger tokens that people can short or long. Um, we would love to work with Ren. I think it's really on Ren to make the liquidity pools on Uniswap or any other thing. I mean, our preference is Uniswap v3. because we can offer more leverage. Concentrated liquidity makes it very competitive. The problem is you just need like there's just more skill, and that's a barrier because of market makers. But we would love to offer anything. I mean, if you look at what Uniswap on Arbitrum has right now, Uniswap V3, it's like maybe like 3 pairs, and one of them is our competitor, which we could totally launch GMX Futureswap exchange. I don't know if our community would want that, but it's it looks like Sushi Swap is a little bit more promising in terms of liquidity. So we'll see. I think Arbitrum will have some big updates in the near future, especially around Nitro that will pull more people onto the chain. I'm actually really curious what the community has explored and what other chains they're interested in. There's been a lot of talk about like Frog Nation and these sort of very like interesting projects on different chains. I'm curious if anyone here is involved with that and what they think.
We can wait for people to respond to that in community call, but there are some more questions. I know we're almost out of time here, so I'll just read them and we can get through what we can. From Cheddarbank, we have, what are you most excited for FST in the first half of 2022?
Oh, I think definitely swap adapter that expands our ability to offer more things in a big way. So that is going to be a really interesting update. Really, really excited, and yeah, a lot of good alignment there. So that should be coming out February is our hope, but yeah, no promises.
And then from GGHB, can you share anything about what's on the roadmap for Q1 and Q2?
Yeah, so like I said, chatting with the top AMMs has been something that we've been doing, and getting a feel for who we'd want to work with and what communities would be really exciting. I listed a couple before, and so you can kind of put that together. But yeah, I think if you look at what's happening right now, there are so many growing opportunities in marketplaces, and I think it makes sense for Futureswap to be, uh, you know, multi AMM, multi chain. Um, and I think that's probably one of the most exciting pieces that we have to offer. We've got some other exciting features coming up, including utility for the token. So I think a big ask from the community, and something we've been thinking about, is staking FST. So um, you know Q1 we at least hope to have a big update on that, maybe towards the end. So that's something to look forward to as well.
Awesome. I think that's all the questions. I think we can wrap it up.
Oh, by the way, sorry, I missed one big update. We actually have um, 2 more front end engineers that recently joined, and yeah, Faku, he's actually here. I just wanted to give a shout out. He's been doing a great job. I've been so busy, we actually haven't had time to jam, and you came on recently. So yeah, huge shout out to that. And then we pulled on another front end engineer. His name is Benjamin. So super excited to get more help on the front end. I know that's been a big point of update and improvement, but yeah, we hope to accelerate a lot of that, especially for this 4.1 update that we have coming.
Awesome. I think that's it. Thank you everyone for joining. Really great to see all of your PFPs. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah, and if you end up going to Denver, please ping us. I'd love to grab a drink or whatever with the team. So that'd be great. Just let us know. That's for ETH Denver, by the way.
Awesome. Thank you all. Catch you
See
next
you.
time.